It is now the beginning of December and we have some big news being dropped. First, let's take a look at the revenue of NIKKE in its launch month. So Sensor Tower has finally posted the NIKKE revenue, and I think it should be accurate as of today, but usually I know in the next few days they sometimes change their numbers, but the raw estimate, okay, for NIKKE for the launch month of November is 39 million for Android and 29 million for Apple. So that adds up to 68. But for the sake of the game, let's say, it's 39.5 and 29.5 and they'll add up to 69. All right. So my thoughts on this, all right? And I'll talk about the pros and cons of the game and some of the other things that are going on with people that are not satisfied with the game. The pros are, obviously, the game is doing really, really well, okay? They love it in Japan over there. If you look at the stats for the revenue for NIKKE, half of the revenue is coming from Japan. Even though Japan is only 20% of the download, right? Half of it is coming from Japan. And it does show because you can see it's number 1 for the top grossing chart for games and role-playing. And it's steadily maintaining that number 1, number 2 spot, which is insane for a new IP game, all right? 69 million is nothing to scoff at. Especially the other game Level Infinite has published last month, which was Tower of Fantasy, didn't even make that much, right? 6 million. Well, this was not launch week, but launch week Tower of Fantasy, I think, was not 70 million together. So the good news is obviously the game has made a ton of money with its aggressive monetization and advertisement, and with numbers like these, the game is here to stay. So for those of you looking forward to play the game long term, the game is here to stay and it's going to have a ton of content coming out for you guys. All right, so that is the good side of things. Again, congrats on the huge earnings report. On the bad side of things, we know the game is riddled with bugs. There were concerns about the polls, the rates, as well as the recent debacle about the paid banner, which has been addressed in a recent statement from the developers, and they're going to give compensation. However, people, especially in Korea, are not happy. All right, and this is a recent post shared with me that people are actually going ahead with a group lawsuit. Of course, take everything with a grain of salt. This is posted on their equivalent of like Reddit, right? It's Naver, so there's nothing concrete about what's going to happen. But if you didn't know, previously in Destiny Child, another game by Shift Up, a group of Korean consumers actually did sue the game, all right? And they were found to have manipulated the rates of the game, and they refunded every single gem currency that were given to the players from the beginning until that point. And then they have thus fixed the rates. So I don't think the game or Shift Up is stupid enough to try this again, all right? Especially they know our Korean bros are not shy to take you to court. But in terms of, again, the success of the game from the revenue point of view, there's no denying that it has been extremely successful. But personally, okay, as a content creator for the game, and as someone who loves the game very, very much, I do hope we can see some positive changes coming out, all right? And I'm gonna go on a bit of a rant. So what I'll do is have this